Yeah, I love how teletherapy, it's almost like a repackaging of all the skills we have, and then it just presents slightly different. Or I'm curious to hear your experience, just a little bit more of that transition from in-person to teletherapy. How was it different?
That's a really good question. I think it's one a lot of therapists kind of wrestled with for quite a few months there at the beginning of lockdowns and having almost when they were pushed into teletherapy without much and clients they would have seen in clinic before have to be kind of suddenly transitioned into that service delivery kind of pathway. The one for me, I don't think I'm really a very exceptional therapist, and almost always, but one thing I think I do reasonably well is capturing the emotional engagement of the child, making things fun. I have my whole fun first approach that I'm such a big fan of. And that's something I work really hard on in clinic, but it was something that was definitely a bigger challenge on teletherapy, but it was also far more important. It was to capture that initial engagement because I'm removed from the space. Tend to be quite a big, larger than life character in person. I'm 6'2", got this big Irish voice that kind of carries across
Mhm.
space and time. But when I'm only through a little Zoom camera and the child's able to kind of get up and away and leave, that I always set myself the goal of I need to capture and keep their attention from the very beginning. It's so much easier if I get them from the start and they're almost hungry for whatever I'm going to do next,
Mhm.
rather than say, "Oh, come on, Johnny, back here. We're
Yeah.
still working." If I lose their attention and have to convince them to come back to me, well, I'm not a fan of that. I'm
Yeah.
economical with my efforts too. That's working too hard for me.
Yeah.
So I need to get their initial engagement from the very beginning and then get the engagement understanding of who the caregiver is as well. They don't have to always be sitting beside them as well, but that they're set up to begin from the very get-go. And that that attentional and engagement and momentum is what I tend to think about it as. I need to start that boulder rolling really quickly at the beginning of the session, and then it sort of feels it kind of is much smoother. Whereas if you're struggling with that emotional engagement from the child, you need to problem solve that really quickly on the hoof
Mhm.
at the beginning of the therapy session. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot more stressful for the therapist, but a lot less productive for the child too, because you're sort of just fighting the battle of keeping them in the seat. And a lot of my young guys are my sensory seekers, my guys who have attentional difficulties, you'll lose them in a heartbeat.
Yep.
So you kind of have to keep the show on the road pretty succinctly. So in terms of emotional engagement for the child, but also being quite clever in the way you're going to present and organize your materials and transition from one activity to the other, where you make things very visual and all happens in screen. But you can even use that. There's so many differences between teletherapy and in person, but they're not all negative. People tend to focus on what they can't do, but then there's lots you can do as well, and you make it quite like the YouTube channel is all about making things easy to follow and very visual and easy to adapt from the child side of the camera.